Jennifer and I, with Amanda Clayton, are the winners of this year's Breckinridge Award for our paper, All Male Panels, Representation and Democratic Legitimacy.
So this paper was inspired by a popular outrage that you see on social media, that you see in the media on all-male panels. So the idea of a group of men being convened to consider a decision or consider a policy issue. And we wanted to know how these all-male panels affect citizens' perception of democratic legitimacy. Specifically, does the presence of women and the inclusion of women on panels convey legitimacy to the deliberations of the panel, the composition of the panel, and the decisions that it reaches. So we designed an experiment that we fielded to a nationally representative sample during the 2016 elections. And our experiment was a hypothetical newspaper article about a legislative committee in a state. And the state legislative committee could be composed of all men or half men and half women, and it could either decide to raise penalties for sexual harassment in the workplace or lower penalties for sexual harassment in the workplace. So people who received our survey saw one of four potential news articles, either an all-male legislative committee raising or lowering penalties for sexual harassment, or a legislative committee composed of half men and half women raising or lowering penalties for sexual harassment. And then we asked a series of questions of whether they thought the decision that the panel reached and the composition of the panel was just and fair, both for all citizens and for female citizens.
Jen, Amanda, and I found that citizens strongly prefer inclusion. So their perceptions about the decision-making procedures, and the decision-making body itself is really influenced by whether women are present or absent. We actually find that this effect is particularly strong for men. So for men, women's presence sends a really strong signal about the legitimacy of the decision. We also were interested in extending our results to think about non-gendered policy areas. And so even when the policy under debate doesn't directly address women, we find that citizens feel better about the decision-making procedures and decision-making institution when women are present. Based on the findings from our initial work, we've extended this project to think about whether all-male panels inspire women to run for office or hamper their political ambitions. And so we're currently conducting experiments where once again we think about anti-feminist and feminist decisions being made by all-male panels versus gender-equal panels, and how that affects women's political ambition. We're also currently running focus groups, and so we're really kind of hoping to speak to the current political moment.
So our focus groups is trying to understand what is inspiring women to run in this political moment. Is it because, and we do see this effect largely among leftist women, so we're trying to understand, are women outraged or are they inspired and to think that I could make a difference if I ran, my presence could make a difference, or maybe outraged in the sense that the values that I have, particularly maybe as a woman on the left, are under threat and I have to run to defend those. And so we're hoping with the next body of research we might be able to tease out how people respond to the over-representation of men in office, and particularly how women and women running for office now, who are largely on the left, what really are those psychological motivations in their responses.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.